So yeah, copy paste the name. Don't forget to put in the folder that it's in, and press play, and everything's down, or everything's uploaded. So let's just draw it like we did the image. So let's see if we're just copying what we've got here. Eventually we're going to get rid of this background image. It's just there for reference. Text font, and this header one will use font 1, the Comic New, so font 1, and then just going back to the reference, text size and text. So we'll do text size. We'll see what 20 looks like for a second. And text has 3 things that we need to put in. So we need to put in what we want it to say, and the X location and the Y location. So we want it to say in parentheses or tick marks, global health expenditure per person. And then there's like a break. I'm just gonna be lazy and write it on another line. So I'll just go copy that text. Whatever way you want to do it. I think like a /n might cause a break, but I'd have to like look more into that. So the first text is going to be global health expenditure per person, and the second text will be, the second line, has never been higher. Cool. And then we'll just move it down on the y-axis. Cool, so yeah, I'm just tweaking things around. So let's color it. So you have to use stroke, and we're just gonna make it white at 255. You can do fill at 255. There we go. We'll actually do no stroke. Let's comment out the image to see what it's looking like. Sweet. So, okay, that's a really quick look at just tweaking around the font. And then if you're not like uploading an image or uploading the font, you can start to play with like moving the words around, and then they can get bigger and smaller, and you can animate them if you code it instead of just working outside of P5 and uploading images with the font already like on the image. So you have like more freedom here. Work on the background really quickly. So there's a gradient background on this image that I'm drawing from. And so I actually just found a gradient function online already. And here it is. So I'm really just going to, this is where I got the this function from. So I'll just like copy that function and paste it in my text. And cool thing about AI is we can now like ask ChatGPT to write a gradient function for us if we wanted to. But there's like a ton of stuff online that you can find things like this with. So another option would be just like uploading a photo of a gradient color that you made in Illustrator or something. And now that you know how to upload photos, that would be super easy too. So cool, we've got this function gradient. We need to make global variables for the C1 and C2. And just, you don't have to know how to do all of this, but just a brief rundown. Color 1 is the beginning color, color 2 is the end color, and it's using a for loop to like go through the height of the canvas. It's using the map function to map the height to these 0 and 1. It's using lerp color. So lerp color is super cool, and we can come over here and see what it is. It blends two colors to find a third color in between them. So that's what's creating the gradient. Here it's got C1, C2, and amount. So the amount is a number between 0 and 1. So if we go back to this and we see, oh, they're mapping using 0 and 1, that's because lerp color needs a number between 0 and 1. And so we're using in as like the amount of, where is it? The amount that there is a difference between color 1 and color 2. That's something to look into more on your own, but let's see if it works. So we can come up in our draw function, and instead of background 220, maybe we'll just call the gradient function for background. Can we do that? I don't know. Oh yes, we can. Haha, there it is. That's fun, but our font kind of disappeared. Instead of putting it in the background, let's just call the gradient function. Cool. So the image is being laid over the gradient. So let's see if we get rid of the image. Yeah, so just a reminder, the code reads from top to bottom. So it's going to read the gradient first, then the image, then the text. If we put the gradient at the bottom, then we wouldn't see the text because it would be laying over the top of it. Imagine like pasting stickers on top of each other. So the order matters in this. Cool, so gradient is now our background. So I'm going to get rid of the background function. I'm going to keep in this image here just as a reference, and actually bring it back up and see what we want our gradient colors to be. So we've got like a hot pink to sort of like peach orange. So in the color picker, I'm just going to go to hot pink, try to find a hot pink, and we're using RGB right now. So I'll just take these 3 numbers, and in our color 1, I'll paste it there, and then the peach for color 2, I'm doing like a peach. And then let's get rid of this image for a sec. Boom. So we've got a gradient, we've got some text. So we do the circle function, we'll put it in the middle, width divided by 2, height divided by 2, and the size of it is the third parameter. So let's just see what width times 0.2 looks like. Ooh, very small. And we can fill it with the color of purple. And give it a 4th parameter of the alpha value, so change its opacity. I think it's 0.5 is what we need, or does it go from 0 to, I always forget if it goes from 0 to 100 or 0 to 1. So it looks like it's going from 0 to 100, so 50 is half opacity. I actually really like the way this looks because it's gathering like color from the background, and I even like the stroke, but I'm gonna try and see what a no stroke looks like. So yeah, you could like start by using somebody else's like that you really like and appreciate infographic, and then like move away as you create it into your own lane. A lot of like whenever artists start making work, like you're a beginner, what we would do is we would choose our favorite artists and we would try to redraw in their style, and then we would practice like that and just move away once we started making our own bodies of work. So I'll up the opacity. I'll keep it like this for right now. It's so subtle, it looks really good to me. And then I definitely need to change this white color because it is like popping off the page way too much. Oh, and I have to make it scalable as well. But you know, that's just like perfecting it. We're just trying to get down like the basic elements. So let's go ahead and add that third circle. So they're all like slightly up. So it's not like a target, it's an offset target. And I kind of want this one to be a little bit more even. The text size is not changing, so I'm going to go to the size, and instead of 28, I'll do it depending on width. So in order to like do the same thing with the text that we did with the image and making it like center so it's easier to work with, you can do a function called text align, center. So you have to put 2 centers for text align because it's the X and Y axis of, you know, where we're putting it. So this actually makes it a lot easier to center it up on the page. So on the first one, we'll just do width divided by 2 for the X location. That way, they're both perfectly centered. Hooray! And let's try resizing it to see how much the spacing between the words changes. So we have to go and make that scalable as well. See what that looks like. Yeah, that looks good. Decent. Well, it's not perfect, but it's getting better. So I'm happy enough with this. And I'm gonna make the white a little bit less white because it's like really popping out. Let's just go and get it to be a little bit purple, like that. Cool, so it's not as like blinding. Yeah, we can go and we can put our other font down at the bottom in the same, using the same process. Yeah, just like take this and run with it and So, oof, that took me probably 2 hours. I was going pretty fast. 2 hours really isn't like a whole lot of time to make something pretty simple. So hopefully you spend more time than that on the projects, and this is not anywhere near done for me, but this is something like, you know, if you got this far and it looks good and it's unique, and of course don't just like copy off of somebody else, like make your own individual work of art slash design. But this would be something like this would be totally like acceptable. I did a lot of things in this that y'all haven't learned yet, so you know, you can always just like create things on Illustrator and import images, and then do the animation and interaction with the code. So here I've got my little icon to say, oh, and also this icon is way too black. Like I would like embed it into the background a bit more if I worked longer on this. And then of course I need animation, so I might like pulse the circles or something. And you know, I'd spend a lot more time on this. This is like a good starting point to just like perfect later on. But yeah, so this is an ode to this piece here. Cool, so yeah, this is an ode to this piece by David McCandless, author of Information is Beautiful. This is his infographic, and this is my version of that. So with some interactivity. So it's not perfect. I definitely need to fix a lot of spacing and a lot of issues here, but it's a good start. It's interactive, and it's a graphical composition slash infographic. Cool, so happy coding.